Thank you, Mr. Ngwako. The next speaker is Charles Siwawa, the CEO of Botswana Chamber of Mines. He'll be taking us through the achievements since the last launch of the summit. We did say last year that we are not a talk shop, so I'm really excited to hear what he has for everyone. Siwawa, please come up. May we all welcome him with a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, allow me to say protocol observed in the interest of time. Thank you. I'm going to take you through very short and precise, concise notes on really what transpired at this local manufacturing summit in 2023, what were the action items, the proposals, and how we've managed to mitigate those proposals. Some of them are work ongoing, and some we believe we've made some headway. But we would just like to emphasize those that we think are more crucial than others. Manufacturing itself, let me just divide that into three, is the procurement and acquisition of raw materials, the processing unit itself, and lastly, the market that you're going to take your products to. It doesn't really matter what you are producing, but basically that's, in its simple terms, what manufacturing is all about. So if you look at all those three, they all do have their project on their own. So we will not delve a lot into those projects, but safe to say, let me tackle the first one, that of ensuring that the market has readily available product standards and that the projects should be adequately funded. That was one of the outcomes from this summit last year. And we had said that we would develop a centralized portal with product standards, specifications, and consumption figures so that people could be able to understand the ramifications and the spectrum of the issues that we are discussing. And that task was given to BCM. Some progress has been made, and the idea is to try and reduce failure rates of the manufacturing projects due to underfunding and so forth. Because if you are a manufacturing entity, you are a starter, and you are looking for 100,000, as an example, to start your project, and the financial institution gives you 75,000, it's very difficult to find the other 25,000 pullers. So in essence, what you're saying as a financial institution is you are actually giving money to a manufacturer to fail, because they are definitely not going to find the remaining 25,000. Therefore, you'll have a project that's really aborted. So we want to really close that gap and ensure that the project budget is well done, is watertight, and that the financial institutions can then accept this and be able to give the full financial value. Otherwise, the project will not be successful. Secondly, we should look at what was coming out here is that quality should be inherent in the production process, because you want to take your products to the market, and the market readily accepts goods that are of good quality. Now, if you're going to be sending goods there that are semi-finished products, it will not sell, and therefore your manufacturing unit will not survive. So we need to be taking all our manufacturers through a process of ensuring that they manufacture goods to the correct standards. We've already engaged Botswana Bureau of Standards, BOBS, to draw up standards that our manufacturers can use. And I think it's worked very well in terms of ensuring that we get those standards verified. The third point, and there's only 5 of them, the third point is export market access. We know that the population in Botswana is not large enough to support significant manufacturing companies. Therefore, we need to be looking at international markets. The bedding of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is one area where we think we can be able to access or take our goods to the market. We have a couple of speakers here that are going to speak today and tomorrow that are going to be telling us about how we can talk about accessing the markets within the region and how we can get our goods there into the market. So it's important that our goods are accepted in the market with issues around quality and so forth. Transport is another issue. We think that we need to develop our air freight and rail infrastructure that must be able to serve the industry other than just utilizing the road, because the road infrastructure is probably inadequate to support us in terms of transportation. So we also need to focus on the railway systems and on the air transport. And again, we've made headway in terms of talking to the relevant authorities on those issues. The fourth one is resetting the agenda towards manufacturing. Here, we are talking about looking at enhancing incentives towards manufacturing. The sector should not just focus on import substitution, but also on export market, and I think that was what was being defined. So we, as you have from the welcome remarks by the President of Business Botswana, indicating that we need to fine-tune our procurement processes. I think there is a lot that is happening perhaps within the mining industry in terms of accepting the goods that have been locally manufactured. We need that type of model to spread within the rest of the private sector and also with the public sector, because I think that is where we think we could gain. There's enough money in terms of procurement of goods that we can be able to make our manufacturing sector a success. So we really need to put more effort in terms of accepting that Botswana can produce quality goods. And that's really what is important for us. I can attest here that some of our factories that have recently opened, they are actually producing not only to the standards, but they're actually beating the standards themselves. And they're manufacturing goods that are more quality than what is available in the market. But we need the public as well as the private sector to accept that our companies can be able to do that. The last one, Your Excellency, is to look at, oh, my paperwork is going to haywire. Yes, the last one is to talk about at the end of the day, we need to be able to manufacture to create value. And there's two values that really this manufacturer is aimed at. One is the retention of capital in the country, because if you can retain the capital in the country, we will be able to increase or improve the economy of this country. Two is to create employment. And we must focus on getting employment to the highest levels that we can. And I must add, Your Excellency, it's not great numbers, but at least we know that since the last manufacturing summit, we've been able to create companies that have put 1,500 jobs on the table. And that is not all. We think in terms of manufacturing, we can still push more. We're aiming for the next 2 years to put at least 12,000 jobs on the table for the country. And basically, Director of Ceremonies, that was my action items in terms of what the mining industry, with the rest of our partners. And I think we also need to appreciate our partners that are helping us in this particular exercise. The UNDP in particular, Botswana Diamond Company, who are actually at the helm of the push for citizen economic empowerment. Not forgetting Morupule Coal Mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Siwawa. You forgot the most important one, that through the UNDP Chamber of Mines partnership, we will now be a blueprint of the supply development program in the region, So we're developing a regional value chain program and helping countries set up. We're starting with Zambia, and it was one of the outcomes from last year's resolutions that there wasn't enough, markets for produced goods. So yeah, thank you. You can actually a round of applause. Thank you. And also just to compliment on what you said, we've just issued terms of reference for a consultant to do a situational analysis on quality management and intellectual property. As entities, we are worried that we have all these SMEs that we're taking all over the world, but their products are really not trademarked or copyrighted and so forth. So we believe that through this exercise that's coming up, it will also tackle the issue that was raised last year, that there's really inadequate in terms of intellectual property.